Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where two friends get together and talk about the story behind the matches. I'm Matt.
And I'm Michael.
Welcome to episode 26, the main event 2.
It's the second one.
It is indeed. This is the second main event.
It is.
Produced by the WWF.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spin-off of Saturday Night Main Event.
But it happens on a Friday, so it's
live.
like a spin forward.
Kind of, yeah.
It's front flip.
It's held live. Saturday Night Main Events usually were tape delayed, basically. They recorded
Yeah, but they played during like the off season of...
Basically, when Saturday Night Live
yeah.
wasn't airing live, they would air these Saturday Night Main Events.
I wish that I was older. This sounds so fun.
It was held at
I could have been just as lame as I am now.
But
in
younger.
But in... well, I mean, older now. But like I could have been in 1989 watching them.
How old were you in 1989?
Like 2. I was born in January 80.
You were already in bed by the
January
time this came
87, and this is basically like January 89.
The thing is, I might have actually watched this live, and I just do not remember it because I possibly could have been watching with my grandmother.
Was your grandmother a wrestler?
She was the one that got me, like,
really?
We would watch wrestling together.
Did we talk about this?
Yeah, we talked about this.
Okay.
Back in, like, house show number 1.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which, if you haven't ever watched one, if you haven't ever listened to any of our house shows, you should check those out.
I think they're fun.
They're fun little side pieces.
Yeah, you get to shoot Matt and shoot Mike. I found out, like,
we play a little loose.
Yeah, my mother had a friend that was younger than her that she worked with named Kathy Galetta. And she would, like, babysit...
Name protected for... Just kidding.
She's either dead or, like, somewhere else. But I guess my mom said that, like, she was really into wrestling, like, in this, like, you know, this Hulkamania era. Mm-hmm. And, like...
She was a real American?
She was a real American. She would go to the shows and stuff, I guess. But she would, like, you know, when I was really little, like, she would babysit my sister and I sometimes, like, if my mom... Like, which didn't really happen that much because parents were basically always either working or at home. But the couple of times that, like, you know, she would babysit, I remembered her because, like, she, like, let my mom be like, yo, like, she's like, I can't believe that your kids haven't seen, like, Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, they gotta watch it. And so, like, she made sure to bring her, like, VHS tape of Nightmare Before Christmas to show us because she loved it so much. She was, like...
Seems like a very bad babysitter.
No, she was great. That's a fun movie. She was very, like, I guess... Looking back on it now, it's like she was kind of like weirdo alt nerd lady that was like 30, but I was like fucking 2. Anyway, she might be my first crush now that we're talking about this live. Maybe.
You like the
that sounds great.
Ladies?
Do I?
You like the older ladies?
I think that's it. I mean, I like them all.
Whatever, bro. So the main event was held at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on February 3rd, 1989. Some things that were happening around that time. Who's Harry Crumb would come out on the same day.
I've never seen Who's Harry Crumb.
Never seen Who's Harry Crumb.
Who's in Who's Harry Crumb?
It's John Candy.
I have seen Uncle Buck. I've seen a lot of John Candy movies. I've even seen Canadian
It's
Bacon.
basically John Candy doing Fletch.
That sounds great.
Did you ever see Fletch?
I've seen Fletch. That sounds really.
That's kind of the
vibe.
The vibe of it. It's not the same.
Exactly. Whenever, like, Who's Harry Crumb? Like, I know the name of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when you hear the name of a movie and you think of, like, it on the VHS rack when you were a kid?
Yeah.
I'm picturing, like, Who's Harry Crumb, but I'm seeing the cover of, like, What About Bob, where it's, like, the worst cover for a VHS tape ever, where it's, like, white and, like, orange. That's it. That's the cover of What About Bob, right?
I think so.
I know. I haven't seen Harry Crumb. Is it top tier, mid-tier, low tier?
I don't love Who's Harry Crumb.
Yeah. You can't buy... Can you buy him as a, like, action hero?
And inept private investigator?
Yes. Sorry, yeah. But not scaling walls.
No, definitely not. And the other thing that I found, and you'll like this one.
I just saw this one because you know how I feel.
The album Mystery Girl. It was an album, right? I got that correct?
I mean, it's definitely a song, but back in the day, anybody that did like that style of music, they would take the single, and that would be the name of the album, and then it would have like 10 other tracks on it.
Yeah. I think it's the name of the album.
Yeah.
But it's by Mystery Girl by Roy Orbison.
My favorite singer of all time.
Would be released. He would join Elvis Presley as the only singers to have 2 top 5 albums.
Oh, wow.
At the same time.
Oh, because of the Traveling Wilburys.
Because the Traveling Wilburys album was
crazy.
out at the same time.
I didn't realize Mystery Girl was such a later song.
It was his last album that he released because he had passed away about a couple months earlier.
Fuck, I fucking love Roy Orbison so much.
I know you do. That note was for you, bro.
Thanks, bud. I'm holding back from just talking about Roy Orbison. We should talk about wrestling.
Okay, well, let's move on to the wrestling. So we head off to the show. We get a highlight package of the MegaPowers with narration from Vince.
Vince narration is amazing.
We see the end of WrestleMania 4 with the putting Elizabeth on the shoulder.
Yeah.
We see
those subtle touches. They're subtle, but not so subtle.
We see Bossman choking Hogan during a Brother Love segment with his nightstick.
That nightstick stuff gets kind of brutal.
We see the shenanigans from Survivor Series with the handcuffing of Hogan to the ropes.
Yeah.
And everything.
Is that the second nightstick beatdown that like gets kind of gnarly?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We see the Twin Towers double teaming Hulk and handcuffing Elizabeth, which brings Savage out with a chair to clear the ring.
Hell yeah.
And then we see the Towers beating up Savage at a TV show, at a TV taping as well. We then see the logo for the main event. It pops up, and more highlights are shown of MegaPowers, Twin Towers, Hercules, and Ted DiBiase.
Man, like the Flash logos for each guy are so good. Like the Hercules one looks fucking amazing. Twin Towers one looks amazing.
Like the pillars and stuff.
Oh no, there's a Hercules. The Hercules one just has like it's like Hercules in like chrome, and then there's like chains wrapped around it, and it looks awesome. But they all look really cool. They're very fun. They feel like advertised like fighting game like logos. Like they're all very like well realized and good. Also, we didn't talk about it in the last show, but the Twin Tower crumbling stuff is by no means funny, but like kind of bizarre and awkward on the last show, and on this one I think it's maybe a little less.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They're called the Twin Towers, and they just talk about like we're gonna crumble the Twin Towers and like knock them down, and like in Royal Rumble like we didn't talk about it, but it's like watching it is just like very affecting today. By no means do I think it should be like edited or whatever. It's just kind of bizarre is all.
Agree.
That's all.
Now that you explained it to me.
I was like, Matt, why are you looking at me funny? And he was like, I don't get it.
No clue what you're talking about.
Matt took a really long nap during 9/11.
We then get Vince and Jesse welcoming us, previewing the matches of the evening, and Jesse says, 3 of a kind always beats the MegaPowers.
Because both those guys are big as fuck. Jesse has like the dumbest. This is my least favorite Jesse fit. I agree. He was very toned down for this. It was like it was thrown together. He's had like a bright green like boa, and then he has like they're kind of like Devo like new wave looking glasses that have lights in them like made for kids, but like none of his outfit like matches. It just looks like he ran into a store and ran right back out.
Then we get Mean Gene in the back with the Twin Towers, and Slick tells us what the third law of wrestling dynamics is. 3 men always beat 2 men.
Do you think that Slick and Jesse were talking before this by any means?
They might have been.
For some reason, they're really about the fact that these 2 men with 2 legs and 2 arms, double is not double, but like when paired together, have an extra pair of arms and legs.
No, they're talking about Slick being the third man. That's what they're talking about.
But is that what Jesse was talking about too?
Yeah. Because the MegaPowers only has Elizabeth. With the Twin Towers.
So they're downplaying her because she's a frail little lady?
Yeah, it's basically what they're saying.
Oh, okay. I thought they were talking about how big they were.
Mean Gene then asks Slick what the first and second law are. The first law is law of the jungle.
Because Akeem is hungry.
He's hungry.
He doesn't look very hungry.
He always looks hungry. He's a big dude.
Akeem is, like I said, I think he might be the biggest guy.
And then the second law was law of the land. And then Big Boss Man reads the MegaPowers their rights.
What are the rights? Do you have them?
I did not write them down.
They're very funny.
I was so hoping that you had them.
Fuck. I don't think I do. It's good.
It's very good.
Spoiler alert, this is 40 minutes worth of your time.
Definitely. We then go to a video package on the friendship of the MegaPowers with some really awesome 80s music behind it. But originally, the song that was played was You're a Friend of Mine by Jackson Browne.
Can you give me the chorus?
No.
You can't?
Not at this moment. So we literally just paused so we could watch this video of this
We got like
song.
80 seconds in.
Did we get that far?
Musically, it was fine, but it's like the most boring version of like Huey Lewis. It's like Huey Lewis with no energy.
Very boring Huey Lewis.
But
it
it's
does
like
have
very
Clarence Clemens saxophone, which is always fun.
Yeah. Can you spell WWF without saxophone?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
We then go to Mean Gene, who's with the MegaPowers, and Gene brings up the triangle of love, and Hogan goes, the love between me and Miss Elizabeth.
And
then Savage does like this double take, like,
yeah.
What?
He does his like toddler on like cocaine, which he is a toddler on cocaine.
And then Hogan finishes the line, the love between brother and sister. And then he talks about the love between them. And
but he really sells the love between them. He's like, the beams of their eyes.
And then the love between Miss Elizabeth and Savage.
And, it's like a radar beam, is what he says.
And then they talk about how Miss Elizabeth Savage could still feel the pain of those handcuffs being put on Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah, it's like they're all like empaths for each other. It's very fucking funny.
And from there, we go to our first match of the evening. The Twin Towers of Akeem and Big Boss Man with Slick versus the MegaPowers of Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan.
With
Miss Elizabeth.
Miss motherfucking Elizabeth. And Liz is wearing a pink prom dress. She's like legit wearing like, it looks like a prom dress. It's very funny. Like an 80s prom dress.
MegaPowers colors. Come on, Miss Elizabeth.
Foreshadowing? I mean, she's kind of wearing, her colors match Randy's better. Because Randy's got like the like kind of pinkish like Pepto gear on, right? Yeah.
So Savage is set to start the match, but Big Boss Man wants Hogan, and Hulk finally convinces Macho to let him in. Hogan punches Big Boss Man, Slick jumps up on the apron, so Hulk hits him and Akeem as well, turns and gives Big Boss Man an atomic drop that sends him over the top rope to the outside.
Hell yeah.
Big Boss Man tries to slam Hogan's head against the turnbuckle, but Hulk reverses it for an 8 turnbuckle head slams in one quarter, and then one more in the opposing one.
I wasn't trying to about my count. I was like, it's probably 10, but no, it was 9.
Hogan tosses Boss Man to the ropes and is winding up for a haymaker, but Boss Man slips out of the ring to catch a breather. But Savage comes from behind with a double axe handle on the floor. Akeem's in, tossed to the corner, where Macho and Hogan ping-pong punch the African Dream back and forth. Top rope double axe handle from Macho, and then Hogan with the second rope double axe handle.
Oh, Hogan got air.
On Akeem. The African Dream rakes Hogan's eyes, Big Boss Man with the clothesline, a pile driver, and the Towers are in control. Hulk backdrops Boss Man over the ropes to the floor, but Hogan is dragged by his feet out to the floor as well. Boss Man's run into the ring post, and both men are trying to roll back into the ring, but Slick grabs Hogan, allowing Boss Man to get away. Savage kicks Slick from the apron to knock him down, breaking his hold on Hogan. Hulk is tossed to the ropes and is given a spine buster. I'm not giving the spine buster its proper due, because it was a weak looking move.
It doesn't look good. It's not an Arn Anderson spine buster.
But Hulk did take a back bump.
He did. That's a good point.
Towers back to working over Hogan. Akeem's holding Hulk with Boss Man coming off the ropes for a punch when Hogan moves, so Big Boss Man hits the African Dream to stagger him and allows Hulk to make the hot tag. Macho with the rubber band slam, a crossbody on Akeem, but Boss Man makes the save. Savage tries to come off the ropes again, but Slick hits him with the nightstick from the outside. Towers double teaming Savage to regain control, and Akeem tosses Macho out of the ring, and Miss Elizabeth helps him up and back into the ring. But the African Dream grabs Savage, and throws him right back out of the ring.
Oh my shit.
Into Miss Elizabeth.
God. Dude, this fucking bump that Elizabeth takes is absolutely terrifying.
It really is.
It's absolutely terrifying. She sells it like a dead like she sells it like she's dead. And it looks terrible. It looks amazing because it looks fucking real.
It totally
does. He falls at full force ass first into her head.
Be like, she's legitimately hurt.
Yeah. Fucking holy crap.
So Hogan runs over, checks on both of them.
Yeah.
Savage gets up, but Hulk is lingering over Elizabeth.
It takes some time.
And Macho sees
he's checking on him for a while. They're selling it.
And it's getting hot. Just standing there.
But she's selling it fucking dead as fuck.
And Hogan's looking to the back someone coming to help.
Yeah. Fucking super silly that nobody comes out to help.
Yeah. Nowadays, people.
Yeah, but this is pretty. I feel like that what we're about to see this might be one of the first big instances of it.
Akeem grabs Savage, brings him back into the ring, and the Towers continue to work him over. Towers go for double jumping elbow drops, but Macho moved. Savage with a double noggin knocker on the Towers, and all of a sudden you see Hulk pick Elizabeth up.
But before he does that, he I don't know if she does it or he does it, but he puts her hands over her body like she's a corpse, she's your hands in front of your chest on your back, and she just sells it. So she's just there. She just looks like she's not breathing, and they even make it make a point to make it look like she's dead because her hands are the way her hands are. Looks like some old school fucking Hammer movie coffin shit.
So we see Hulk has Elizabeth in his arms.
Yeah, he's losing it.
Carrying her back down the entryway. Macho sees this in the ring and doesn't understand what's going on. He's he reaches out of the ropes yelling down the entryway. Bossman comes from behind with a kick to the back. Hulk has finally found some medical personnel.
He runs through that hallway and he's losing it the whole time. He's like, somebody help her, Jesus. He is fucking... I would kind of, not overselling it. He's just kind of a one note about it.
Yes.
But he seems very concerned.
The medical personnel help him get Elizabeth on a gurney, and they roll her back to this first aid room where Hogan is holding her hand and is very distraught.
Yeah.
The doctor starts taking her blood pressure.
Cool.
Way to go, fake doctor, doing doctory stuff.
What is it they always call it? They never say... Vince always has his, terms.
Yeah, they never say hospital. They always say medical facility.
Medical facility. So it's does he not say doctor? Does he say, health professional? Something goofy like that.
Back from commercial, the Towers are still working over Savage in the ring. And Elizabeth has finally woken up and asks, "Where's Randy?"
Yeah.
Liz tells Hogan to get back to the ring. So Hulk makes his way back, and the crowd is going crazy.
Hell yeah, they are. This takes some time. This stuff is this is not a quick return.
Double team backbreaker from the Towers to Savage, and the Towers both go to come off the same rope, but the ropes are so loose that Akeem falls over, and Bossman misses the splash. I don't know if this was supposed to be what actually happened. I think it might have been a botch.
I know that those ropes looked loose, but it's the way that Akeem and Bossman hit them. They look like some of those matches were yo, what happened to these ropes? This ring looks fucking loose. Is somebody gonna get hurt?
Savage goes to the top rope for a double axe handle. Macho tosses Bossman out of the ring, grabs Akeem and tosses him out of the ring as well. Hogan's there on the apron, but Savage isn't even looking to tag him in. Macho then walks over to Hulk, slaps him, and then jumps out of the ring.
And it fucking is great. He looks at him for a minute. He kind of thinks about the slap. He's gonna do the tag, and then he basically tags him in with a fucking slap.
Bossman comes over, kicks Hogan in the back, and Savage begins to walk up the entryway. Towers are trying for a double avalanche splash in the corner, but Hulk moves.
But he's slow going back, and the people in the crowd are leaning forward over the railing, go yelling at him to go back and don't leave and stuff. And it's just everybody is in.
Hogan reaching over the ropes, pleading with Macho at ringside, but Savage just grabs his belt from the timekeeper and goes to the locker room. Bossman then hits an avalanche splash on Hulk in the corner. Akeem with a clothesline and an Air Africa for a 2 count.
I had 747. I was like, I can't remember the other name. One Man Gang.
Hulk starts hulking up.
Hell yeah, he does.
No selling Akeem's punches, giving the big boot, fighting off Bossman, and then the leg drop to Akeem for the pin and the win.
That big boot, leg drop. Big boot, leg drop. But
post-match,
it's not over yet, baby.
Bossman attempts to handcuff Hogan. The Hulk slips away, giving a double noggin knocker to Bossman and Slick, leaving them handcuffed.
Yeah, they're gonna do the same spot they did to Hulk months
Survivor
before,
Series.
And they're gonna tie him up, but they do like some cheap ass like magic thing.
Yeah.
It's like oh, they go in and then like it's almost comedic where like they like Hulk backs out and like I thought Hulk was gonna be handcuffed and he wasn't. They were, but they all covered it up with like their heads and their bodies and like in front of the camera.
It was a really good spot.
It was really good. I agree completely.
Hogan starts making his way to the back and is yelling for Macho. Mm-hmm. Savage is in the first aid room arguing with Elizabeth.
Before that, he goes through. It's like 2 minutes of him running through the like venue, which I don't feel like we really seen at this point. But he like is throwing around other guys. Like he like runs into a room and it's like Jim Neidhart.
No, that's at the very end of the episode.
Oh, okay. I'm
not
sorry.
This part.
Sorry, guys.
Hulk finally makes his way to the first aid room, starts yelling at Macho himself, and Hogan yells, "How could you leave me out there?" And Savage basically tells him, "I've been carrying you. You never asked for a title shot because you can't beat me."
And it's amazing.
Savage jumps at Hulk with the belt, knocking Hogan over, and starts throwing lefts and rights.
Well, yeah, he does the total fucking like heel belt bump, and he like flies and like hits like some medical equipment and falls down in the corner.
Some tongue depressors just go flying.
yeah. One of them falls in Elizabeth's mouth. Turns out she's okay.
Yeah, because all of a sudden Elizabeth is up and she checks on Hulk, but Macho grabs her and drags her away.
No, he like throws her across the room. It looks really rough.
As Savage is about to hit Hogan with the belt again,
who shows
Brutus Beefcake rips the title away and
stabs him in the heart with shears.
But starts getting beat up by Macho.
Oh, I wasn't expecting. I guess like Beef is a good like clean baby. I guess, but I was like, okay, it's Beefcake.
He's one of Hogan's real life best friends.
One of his boys.
We see Savage even throw Pat Patterson, who's trying to calm things down before he leaves.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
So we come back from commercial, and Jesse and Vince are talking about the disintegration of the MegaPowers.
Well, I mean, imagine that I'm Jesse Ventura. It's Liz's fault. I told you that she was a detriment.
Jesse's been right all along.
I mean, I don't know if I can say that out loud. But
that's just what he says.
Yeah. But in this situation,
we then go back to Mean Gene. He's there with Hogan and Beefcake in the first aid room. Not going to be able to get an interview right now because of Hogan's mental state.
Yes, and he's like not saying anything, and he doesn't say anything later either.
So we're back out to the ring. We get our second match of the evening: Hercules versus Ted DiBiase with Virgil.
And is this the slave stipulation?
No, there's no stipulation. This is just the culmination of their feud, basically.
Okay.
So as soon as DiBiase and Virgil are on the apron, Hercules knocks Virgil off, drags $1 Million Man in, and gives an atomic drop and a clothesline to send Ted to the floor. Hercules grabs Virgil, who has climbed to the top rope, and press slams him to the mat. DiBiase's finally climbed back to the apron, and Hercules tosses Virgil into the $1 Million Man to knock him back to the floor, and then clothesline Virgil over the ropes to the floor as well. Hercules slingshots DiBiase back into the ring, and then a gorilla press slam. Another atomic drop that sends $1 Million Man over the ropes to the floor. Hercules then grabs both Virgil and DiBiase to give a double noggin knocker.
The old DNK.
Hercules has $1 Million Man up on the apron and looks to give some forearms across the chest, but DiBiase snapmares Hercules over the ropes to the floor.
And it's not an NWA match. Right?
So no one's disqualified.
It's not a DQ.
$1 Million Man slams Hercules' head on the apron, some chops before rolling him back into the ring. We get an Irish whip into a clothesline and then some falling fist drops from DiBiase. $1 Million Man on the second rope with a double axe handle to the forehead of Hercules. And then we get into a suplex attempt. Hercules reverses it into a vertical suplex of his own. $1 Million Man slams Hercules' head into the turnbuckle multiple times and goes to Irish whip him to the opposite corner. But Hercules reverses it, charges in, but DiBiase gets a boot up. DiBiase tries for more turnbuckle slam shots, but Hercules reverses it to give 10 of his own. Power slam by Hercules, and he's feeling the power of 20,000 fans behind him. Hercules goes for a shoulder tackle.
Ish.
But $1 Million Man moves, and Hercules crashes into the turnbuckle head first. Virgil's climbing up on the apron with a Hercules chain and wraps it around a turnbuckle. And the ref sees him do this.
Oh, does he?
He looks right at Virgil doing it. DiBiase grabs Hercules and is charging him towards the chain-wrapped turnbuckle, but at the last second, Hercules reverses it to slam $1 Million Man's head into it for a 2 count. Once again, another slam of DiBiase's head into the turnbuckle and lifts him up into a backbreaker, basically a torture rack.
Yeah.
But Virgil is distracting the ref on the apron. The ref finally gets Virgil off the apron, and instead of looking at DiBiase and Hercules with him in the torture rack to see if he gives up or whatever.
Yeah.
He goes to the turnbuckle to unwrap the chain.
Chain's not being used right now, man.
Virgil grabs Hercules'
I like
tights,
Hercules.
showing us some bare ass, pulling him into the ropes for him to lose control of $1 Million Man.
I forgot about the ass shot.
Hercules turns to reach for Virgil, but when DiBiase comes from behind for a schoolboy roll-up with a handful of tights for the pin and the win. Post-match, we see Hercules attack $1 Million Man, goes to grab his chain while Virgil grabs DiBiase to escape the ring. We come back from commercial and Mean Gene's finally in the back with Hulk Hogan.
To check on his mental state.
We get the worst fake crying again from Hulk.
It's. I will say he's whole-assing it. He's not half-assing it. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that he's not...
Does not mean that it's good.
He's not half-assing it.
But he's not half-assed. Because he literally is like,
he's
jealous.
He's selling the shit out of it.
Jealous.
Yeah. Randy.
Hogan walks out of the first aid room, and we end up back with Vince and Jesse, and they review the MegaPowers situation.
We all know how Jesse feels about it.
And then we cut back to Hogan walking down the hallway.
Yeah, what I was talking about earlier. Sorry to spoil it.
Trashing the back, opening doors.
He's like throwing road cases. Like, I think bumps like Neidhart.
He opens a door, Jim Neidhart's there, and he like yells at him, "Where's Randy?"
Yeah.
He walks up, next up, Shawn Michaels is there, and he grabs him. He's like, "Where's Randy?"
Yeah.
Bret Hart's there, Marty Jannetty, all of them.
Yeah, I think Marty Jannetty's the only one that doesn't get touched.
Yeah, he did. He just looks at him.
Yeah.
Where's Randy?
Hulk was like, I know that he has the good blow connection, so I'm not gonna rough him up right now.
And basically just either beats him up or tells him to get out of his way, and he finally gets through some like double doors out.
It's all
and that's how the show ends.
Yeah, it's all Randy. Why? The last match is fine. I don't know if it should have happened first or not at all. You know what I mean? Or if, like, the Herc DiBiase match should have been, like, fucking, like, Coco and Bad News. You know, something that's, like, a little bit less important or hot. Because I was just, like, so ready for my storyline to show back up. But this is 47 minutes of amazing. And some of the best stuff. It's like the best Hulk stuff, right? Is the MegaPowers. The lead to the MegaPowers and the fall of the MegaPowers, right? Does everybody feels that way, right?
I mean, the fall...
That's not by no means...
This is a great storyline.
It's done so well over time, and it's like...
culmination of an entire year long.
I mean, we're watching it pretty fast, but, like, it's...
It started at it started even before WrestleMania 4. It started... even before then, because they became the MegaPowers. Kind of main event one was the
whole point.
No, the main event one was the Andre Hogan thing.
Yeah.
And so that set up the tournament, but they were the MegaPowers even at that point. Well, here's the thing about this show. is
that it's fucking awesome.
It actually ate the 9th match of the show live.
That totally makes sense.
The other 7 matches
I knew that it wasn't an hour-long show.
Dark matches.
Yeah, nobody paid $18 for, like, in 1988 for fucking a 2-hour, or a 47-minute show.
This was on network television, so you weren't paying pay-per-view.
No, I just meant, like, people, like, in the ring.
Yeah.
People in the building, like, because tickets were cheap
literally
then.
a bunch of the feuds that they've been growing were kind of culminated at this show.
Sweet.
Like, so Hercules and DiBiase, they've been feuding at WrestleMania, which is our next WWF show that we're going to cover in a few weeks. Mm-hmm. You would think that would be where they would have their blow-off.
Yeah.
They don't. They're fighting 2 different people. This was the culmination of their feud.
Yeah. I mean, shit just like...
But like
we always read into things a little too much.
It was basically a house show where they were... Like, because Andre and Jake the Snake were one of the matches.
Yeah.
But they
do
still have a match at WrestleMania against each other.
So it's kind of like house show, like warming up.
Yeah.
And like
preparing themselves for the big show.
But so the main event was only this 1 hour.
It was 1 hour on a Friday night, and they showed these 2 matches live with this.
But the rest of the show, like, how well was that show put together? If they knew when to start beginning of the show and all the interviews, like, I feel like there was a commercial break and stuff.
Doing live TV, man.
All I'm saying is,
they have a lot of practice by this.
It was done well.
So I mean, we started kind of giving our overall thoughts. Continue on those. I mean, you're loving this show.
Oh, this rules.
Absolutely rules.
This absolutely is the best things about WWF at this point in time. This is the best Hulk stuff. This is like the Randy Liz MegaPower Hulk stuff is like, we talked about it when Randy got the belt and he held the ropes open for Liz, and then like, but before that he had her on his shoulders. I was watching it in my living room and fucking my cheeks were wet. I was fucking tearing up. This is not that kind of good, but it's also not that kind of a cathartic like resolution.
We'll get that resolution probably at WrestleMania 5.
Yeah, hopefully. But essential shit.
It's a super fun show.
This is essential as fuck.
Huge history-making moments.
Yes.
And it completely sets up WrestleMania 5, and I'm totally ready for it.
The Hulk going through the hallway, like, you've all seen that picture of Hulk at some point on the internet. Like it is...
I mean, they overdo it nowadays.
Yeah.
But it was so good then. It made...
Wait, overdo...
Like the person trashing the back. Like,
oh, yeah.
Looking for someone.
I don't even know if they do it that much now, but they did in 1998. But that's because in 1998, there's no kayfabe. It's the destruction of that. It's like, oh, we got to show everything. But yeah, I was surprised to see him do that here. Like throw a road case and like choke out guys in the back. That was weird.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right, fuck you.
I think it's time for us to smark it up. There's 2 matches on the show. Mm-hmm. So best moments.
The best moment
is the argument between Hogan and Macho in the back, right?
Yeah, it's a mix between that and like the like when Randy flies out and like he flies out full force and his ass lands on, like, he legitimately knocks Elizabeth down and she plays it for dead. I was legitimately scared while I was watching it, and I know that she lived for a very long time after that, but I was like, I popped in my seat, man. I was like, she's dead. She's got to be dead. Oh my God. Like, I fucking lost it. And I was legitimately concerned, even though this happened in like 1989, I was legitimately concerned for the person that just got knocked over. I was like, oh my...
Where's my DeLorean to go and save her?
Yes. And Hulk was there to stand over her, I guess, for a while. But no, this is also...
Console her.
Yeah,
for
but like
moments.
That moment like fucked me up. But it's all... The first match is the show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what the entire show was built around, was that.
Yeah. The second match was like, oh, well, we need 10 minutes to, like, build this up.
Well, let's talk about most disappointing. I hate that they had Hercules and DiBiase blow off their feud.
They could have done any other match there, or they could have extended.
Do a tag match.
Yeah, anything. You could have just extended this to where it's only that match.
I mean, I don't know if I wanted to watch because basically,
I
was not super impressed with the Twin Towers MegaPowers match.
No, it's all story.
Because it's all story.
Yeah.
And
it's not about the match.
They spent way too much time having the towers just beat up on them.
Okay, well, what if the second part is just the pose off? Would that have worked better?
I mean, I probably would have preferred that. You know,
but the thing is,
put that
is
pose
like,
off from the Royal Rumble on this show instead. It builds that feud.
Yeah.
Or have Warrior
honestly
have Warrior face someone,
smash a guy,
and then Rude come out and have a run in or something.
Honestly, anything, but
feud,
it does no.
Don't have a blow off.
It just takes away from DiBiase and Hercules, and they deserve more
because they now basically have like a month and a half or so to build up another feud for WrestleMania, and like they don't have a whole lot of TV, and they're not on TV every week, so it's kind of like can't.
I just felt like it's like
I don't remember who each one of them.
The Herc DiBiase stuff wasn't bad. I just felt like it's like well, it's such an afterthought.
It was. It completely was.
And it's not that it's bad. It's just that it's like this other shit is the hottest shit. Some of the hottest shit you're ever gonna do, right?
Yeah.
This is like the kind of thing that builds a brand.
I mean, I think they probably just put it on because they knew people would care enough about that match.
Also,
that they would stick around to the end to see the end of the show.
The other thing I was thinking about was that like, is the Hulk stuff piped in over top of their match? Are they like? Is it like on a screen piped in? Like
I don't think there's a screen to the crowd.
Yeah, to the crowd. Because if not, then I understand it a little bit more. But then it's like two completely different.
Literally just for the TV.
Well, then the Herc DiBiase match gets a little bit more of a leeway being there because people aren't getting the. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, right?
Because I mean, well, if you're at the live audience and there's no screen telling you what's happening in the back, Hogan and Savage just fought. Are you sticking around for Hercules and DiBiase?
I mean, yeah, I paid my ticket. I'll sit down. I'll watch it.
But a lot of people wouldn't.
Yeah.
The crowd wasn't super hot for this match because they had just seen Savage and Hogan.
They just got 30 minutes of Savage and Hogan like accumulating like the accumulation of their like feud that's been going on for so long.
I mean, it's the same issue with the Royal Rumble. Once the big story is done,
it
was kind of like,
it's like ugh, yeah. It's like, okay, so now we're like working undercard.
Yeah, basically.
All the shit we're talking, I want to make it known that
the show is great.
You should watch this twice. It's amazing.
Best performer of the night, Elizabeth, with the Playing Dead.
Elizabeth's Playing Dead. It's Savage, and then Elizabeth, and then everybody else. Because it's fucking Randy fucking Savage.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like I mean, I might put them like on like an even tier where they're like both like number one, and then everything else is like I don't care anymore. So it's like, you know, like I think Hercules looked good. DiBiase is always good. Hulk Hogan is always Hulk Hogan. Mean Gene is all of our dads in a perfect world. But yeah, like I love Elizabeth, but Randy has just got that little bit of an edge.
Anything surprising in this show?
I was surprised that there was something that wasn't the tag match. I was surprised that I got a second match.
Oh, okay.
Just because I wasn't privy to it going in. It was kind of surprising to see the big background stuff because we don't go back and watch all of your
TV
all the
episodes
TV stuff where it's like a lot more of like the promos and whatnot.
Yeah.
We've been watching the pay-per-views, so we'll get like clips of that and stuff, but like we're not super well versed in our brother love fucking segments.
No, definitely not.
But so it was surprising thing to me was that the story like left the ring to the back multiple times and was like well shot and it's done really well. It looked good.
For my most surprising, I'm gonna kind of dive into a little bit of a deeper topic here. In this feud, or in this breakup between the MegaPowers.
Oh, yeah, you're talking relationship shit.
So, story started with, Hogan and Andre. Hogan losing to Andre. Savage then winning the tournament as for WrestleMania 4. They're friends and everything. We then see cracks begin at Survivor Series.
Yeah. Well, you got the Hulk with the touch on Elizabeth's side and the Randy look.
Yeah, Randy starts giving the look,
and it's so subtle and so good.
Who should be the heel in this? When you think of everything that Hogan has done and Savage has done, other than Savage attacking Hogan in the back.
Well, I mean, Savage always been because it was before all of this, he was always very dismissive of Elizabeth. So he already has that.
He has a background of that, but they've reconciled that.
They did reconcile that, but you don't forget it.
But if you think about it, Hogan even at the Royal Rumble, he's like, who's the real champion? Macho can't beat me. That's some heel shit right there.
Yeah. I mean, you'll never catch me caping for Hogan.
Literally, they could have just did a Hogan goes and throws Macho out.
Yeah.
That's some heel shit.
Yeah.
He's your I'm I know it's every man for himself.
Yeah.
But he's your partner.
The thing is,
and the Twin Towers are about to come out. Why would you not want to keep him in the ring to help you? With
you have
you
got the champ with you.
So literally everything Hogan does leading up to this point.
I think that's the genius of it is that.
No, the problem is that the crowd's not going to boo Hogan at this point.
No, they're not. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I think that how vague and confusing it is, motivation-wise, is one of the reasons that it works so much better. Because it's not clear.
I would have almost preferred for both of them just to have this disagreement and not for Savage. Because, spoiler for WrestleMania 5, Savage is the heel.
Well, yeah, because he already starts talking about this, where he starts talking about Macho Madness and stuff, and he's he's kind of doing a jealousy vibe on.
Yeah, it's a complete
Hogan.
jealousy. But I'm just if you look at everything that has happened, Hogan should be the heel.
I see where you're coming from. I don't disagree, but I think that there's an argument for both sides, and that's why it's an interesting feud. We know that Hogan's not going to go heel until there's big money about it in 1990 whatever. All the real ones know that Savage over Hogan forever. Right?
Correct.
Right?
And now for a look back even further into the history of wrestling.
The dusty finish.
In 1930, the National Boxing Association had created the National Wrestling Association with hopes to begin regulating professional wrestling. But the title they recognized wasn't even the same title that Ed Lewis and other luminaries had held. There was no legitimacy, so smaller promotions wouldn't even recognize it. The regional promotions also had no say in who held it or hope of booking the champion Jim Londos, so they would just create their own titles. With every promotion claiming to have a world champion, it was damaging and made every title seem not legitimate. Something needed to be done if wrestling was going to continue to thrive. In 1948, Paul Pinky George, Sam Muchnick, Orville Brown, and a group of other promoters settled on a solution. Multiple territories would vote on and share a single world champion. Together, they formed the National Wrestling Alliance.
I got goosebumps.
Next week, Chi-Town Rumble.
Okay. Is it an NWA show, a WCW show?
WCW.
Is it actually WCW? It's
NWA produced by the WCW.
But it's got the NWA skirt.
Probably. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, they'll still be defending the NWA.
The WCW logo.
It'll still be the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah. I'm just curious, when do we get the WCW logo?
I'm not real sure. I think it's
90-ish.
Later in 91, 92.
Oh,
maybe.
okay.
It might be a few episodes from now. But we'll have a return of someone at this show that Michael will be very happy to see come back.
Is it Sam Houston?
It will not be Sam Houston.
I figured that's what your answer was going to be.
But I already know who the best performer of the night will be.
Okay.
If you catch my drift. So the music from this week's show, the theme song from the main event, which is a good tune. You all heard it at the very beginning of the show. And $1 Million Man won the main event.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to play his.
Is this the first and only MDM?
I think so. I think it might be. But we get some good $1 Million Man laughs in this theme, which are always, it's like the best laugh ever.
Some of the, like, the like, he may have been the luckiest with, like, coming into the WWF with, like, the, like, booking and promos and, like, the pacing.
If you like us and you want to let us know, please let us know, because we love ratings and reviews. You can do that on iTunes, Stitcher, GooglePlay, Podcoin, or wherever you find your podcasts at. You can always email us any questions, comments, concerns. Tell us how much you love the MegaPowers storyline at WrestlingHistoryX@gmail.com. Or you can always find us on Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTOX.
And always remember, Randy!
We'll talk to you next week.